I had to call off the wedding. Just like that, everything came crashing down. One moment, I was ready to spend my life with this woman, the woman I loved for over 4 years. The next, I was looking at something I never imagined seeing in a million years. My fiancée, Ellie, was sexting her ex. How could she do this to me? My mind was racing, my stomach turning. I was utterly speechless. Let me take you back for a moment. Ellie and I had been together for over 4 years. We met 5 years ago, and from the very start, there was something special. It felt right, so right that when the topic of marriage came up last summer, I was taken aback, but also, I was ready. Why not? I thought. I loved her, we had been through so much together. It was time. We started planning our wedding, a spring wedding. I even bought her a ring for New Year's to make it official. She gave me one on Valentine's Day. Everything seemed perfect. Until it wasn't. Ellie was away on a 2-day work trip, and while I was working from home, my laptop crashed, and I had to use the family PC. Normally, she kept her personal email open there. I didn't think much of it, until I noticed something. An email popped up from Felix. My heart dropped. Felix. The name instantly hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew exactly who he was. Her college sweetheart. Her ex. They dated throughout college, but according to Ellie, they broke up because he moved back to his country. I had heard the story before. It was a clean break. But deep down, something always bugged me about it. How could it not? After all, she denied even staying in touch with him. Yet, there I was, staring at an email thread that made me feel sick. I clicked it. And oh my God, I wish I hadn't. The messages were vile, disturbing, the worst thing I could have imagined. It wasn't just an innocent exchange of pleasantries. No. She was telling him how much she missed him, how she satisfied herself thinking about him. She described how she touched herself, how she craved him in ways I never thought possible. My stomach churned as I read about things I never thought she would ever say, let alone to him. She even talked about things we never did, things I respected her boundaries about. And she craved them from him? It felt like a punch in the gut. One of the emails made me physically sick. She had written to him, I don't know why I'm even marrying this person when his weenie is half of yours. Can you imagine reading that? It wasn't just the words that hurt, it was the realization that she had been hiding this from me all along. I couldn't even breathe as I read more. How could she say this about me? She had told me, only that same day, how good I was in bed. How she loved me, how I knew her body so well. Was she lying then? Were all the compliments and sweet words just lies? I didn't know what to do. The anger inside me was overwhelming. Should I confront her? Should I wait for her to return? Should I just ghost her? I was losing my mind, trapped in a whirlwind of emotions. All I wanted to do was scream, smash something, burn everything down. I had been planning a wedding, getting ready to spend my life with her, and she was out there, lying to me, laughing with him, missing him. How could I face anyone? How could I face myself? Was I a fool? I hadn't even told my friends or family yet. How could I? What would I even say? Hey, remember how I was supposed to get married next month? Well, my fiancée has been sexting her ex the whole time. The rage coursed through me, but there was also confusion. How could I have missed all the signs? Was I so blinded by love? And then, after hours of sitting in the chair, thinking, feeling like I was losing my mind, I realized something. I had to act. I couldn't just sit there, consumed by anger and disbelief. I had to move. Some of you gave me advice, told me to cancel the wedding and tell people the truth. And you know what? You're right. She couldn't let go of the past, and I deserve someone who is all in, heart, mind, body. The truth is painful, but it's better than living in a lie. So, that's what I did. I shut down the PC, I closed everything off, and I faced reality. I'd been so caught up in planning a future with someone who wasn't really there. It wasn't just a betrayal of trust, it was the realization that I didn't know who she truly was. And now, I have to figure out what to do next. But one thing is clear, it's time for me to move on. I caught her in the act, plain and simple. It wasn't some drawn-out affair, no, it was as clear as day, right from the very first moment. It was all out in the open. My heart sank, and something inside me snapped. From that point on, I kept my eyes peeled, always alert, always questioning. And so, like many of you suggested, I ghosted her. There was nothing left to confront, no need for those exhausting back-and-forth arguments. After sifting through those long threads, those incriminating emails, I knew this was over. But even in my pain, I owe a thanks to one specific user who gave me a game-changing idea. I didn't need the advice, not really, but it never hurts to be prepared, right? So, I downloaded the emails, forwarded them to my phone, just in case I ever needed them. I printed everything out with backup, a safeguard. Just a little insurance, you know? Now, it was time to act. I locked the door to our life and changed the locks to the house. Next, I called my manager. I didn't get into the details. I didn't need to. I simply told him that I had to call off the wedding. He understood, didn't press me for specifics, and gave me 2 weeks to sort my life out. 2 weeks. That's all I had. I packed up my things, found a cheap motel, and settled in. A discount for a long stay, small blessings. I wasn't done yet, though. I packed all of her stuff, shoved it into storage, and left the receipt right at the door. She'd synced her contacts and photos to Gmail, so you know what I did? I deleted every last one of them. Out of sight, out of mind. Then, I turned my attention to the joint account. It was supposed to be for our wedding, but I took my share, about 70%. I canceled the venue and got half my money back. Same with the photographer, the caterer, all of it. Refunds started rolling in. Those 2 days were pivotal. They were full of tension, of unanswered questions, but I was already ghosting her. I didn't block her. Not yet. I wanted to see what she would do. Would she even notice? Would she figure it out? Sure enough, those 2 days were filled with messages from her. I lost all my contacts, all my photos, my phone's acting up. What's going on? Why aren't you replying? What's wrong? Why aren't you answering my calls? The desperation in her texts, it was like watching a drowning person clutching at straws. She even called my family, trying to track me down. My mom called me, but I made it clear, don't say a word to Ellie, just tell her I'm not responding. For 2 days, I held my silence. Then, it all exploded. She showed up at the house, and when she found it locked with her key useless in her hand, she lost it. Of course, I knew it was coming. She grabbed the storage receipt from the doorstep, my signature glaring at her. Then the storm hit. Her calls, her texts, it was a relentless barrage. What the hell happened? Are you home? Why are you doing this to me? Did you find someone else? She even had the nerve to accuse me of cheating. Can you believe that? After everything she did, she had the audacity to flip the script on me and ask if I was the one being unfaithful. It was almost satisfying, in a twisted way, to see her flip through so many emotions. And then it got worse. One moment she was begging, I love you, we're getting married next month, let's fix this. And then, bam, the next moment she was calling me every name in the book. You're a coward, a juvenile, a son of a witch. She accused me of hiding, of running away. When she realized I'd deleted her contacts, erased her pictures, and pulled my share out of the joint account, the explosion was complete. She was a hurricane of fury. I blocked her. I had to. I couldn't take it anymore. The mental toll, the emotional toll, it was too much. People in the comments said I dodged a bullet. And looking back? Yeah, I did. Phew. I've been holed up in that motel, figuring out my next move. Thank God the invites hadn't gone out yet. That would have been a nightmare, cancellation notices, endless questions. Not to mention, I haven't heard from anyone in her family, her friends, nobody. The emails I kept safe, tucked away, just in case. I blocked her on everything. I cut all ties, everything. And now? Now, I'm lighter. It's not easy. It's not perfect. But it's better than it was. It's not over, but it will be. Soon. And if you're ever in this situation, my advice: if someone accuses you of cheating, accuse them right back. Don't let them turn the tables on you. Here's to standing tall. Here's to self-respect. And in a strange, twisted way, here's to victory. Update 2. It's been a while since that night. After she was denied entry to the house, she didn't stop. She banged on the door, on the windows, until angry neighbors stepped in and forced her to quiet down. She didn't stop there, though. No, she showed up at my workplace. I knew it was coming, so I took a break. I told the receptionist to tell anyone looking for me that I was on sabbatical. Ellie left a note there for me. You can't hide from me, you son of a witch. I'll hunt you down and rip you apart. Can you imagine? After everything, she had the gall to write that? I was boiling with rage. I wanted to confront her, but deep down, I knew what she was doing. She was playing games. Manipulating me, using words like weapons. It made me crazy, but I fought back the urge to retaliate. I called my manager, asked if I could work remotely. He approved it. I needed to stay busy, stay focused. And so, for a month, I worked remotely from the motel. It was isolated, hidden away from the world. After a few days, I stepped out for some fresh air, walked around the nearby woods, and explored an abandoned lake. Nature helped. It was a form of therapy. As time passed, the reality of the wedding hit. Some close friends, some family members, they remembered. No invite had been sent out. Slowly, I told them what happened. The shock, the disbelief, it was all too much. My best friend had spent the most time with us, and when I asked him if he ever thought Ellie was hiding something, he said no. He thought she was the perfect wife. I don't know. Were we blind? Or was she that good at hiding her true self? I thought that by escaping to Alaska, I could finally leave behind the last shred of misery from my life. Maybe, just maybe, this would help me move on, but no. It only made everything worse. My attempt to heal turned into more pain, a fresh layer of grief added to the already heavy load. There was one more thing, though, the honeymoon. We had booked it together, a trip to Alaska. When everything fell apart, I tried to cancel it, too. But the booking was non-refundable, the trip wasn't insured. So, I was stuck with it. I figured, why not? I decided to go for it. The problem was Ellie, she knew the details. She had the trip itinerary, and I couldn't shake the worry that she might show up here, too. I deleted her messages, but still, the thought gnawed at me. What if she thought this was her chance to fix things, to relax her mind as she'd put it? I had deleted her inbox, so she couldn't find anything. The booking was in my name, under my account, so she couldn't track it down. Here I was, in a cozy cabin surrounded by the majestic Alaskan wilderness, writing down the remnants of my miserable life, hoping that this isolation would somehow make it all stop. That I'd finally leave the past, my worries, and all those insecurities behind me, lost somewhere in these dense woods. But then, a note appeared at my workplace. From her. A note that sounded like it was written by a serial killer. Shameless, ruthless, the audacity of it all. And when the wedding day arrived, I had to face my friends and family and spill the beans. What a gut-wrenching, soul-crushing moment that was. There was no escaping the truth. But at least I could cross the T's and dot the I's, right? The only thing I hoped I would catch out here in this Alaskan paradise was a deep breath of fresh air, not Ellie's ghost following me through the snow-covered trails. And then it happened. The inevitable. The twist. I bumped into her. Ellie, here? In Alaska? Yes, of course. She had followed me. After everything, after I had tried to vanish, there she was, standing in front of me. How? She must have tracked me down. The whole thing was like a bad dream, surreal and maddening. I was out there, lingering in the silent landscape, when I saw a figure approaching. I didn't think much of it at first, but as she came closer, I realized it was her. Ellie. It was a mix of frustration and absurdity. I wanted to walk away, but I couldn't. What was the alternative? I couldn't run, couldn't hide. So, I did the only thing that made sense. I tried to leave. But she wouldn't let me. She ran to stop me. I've been searching for you everywhere, she yelled. She couldn't accept that I was done, that I had moved on. She told me how she had left me a note at the office, how she had followed me here, even tracked down the hotel I was staying at. She pieced it all together, guessed right, and caught the first flight to Alaska. Her words flooded out like a dam breaking, desperate, frantic. She followed me for half a mile, ranting. I turned to her, finally losing my patience. I don't care, I said. You need to leave. But she wouldn't. She said she wouldn't go until I heard her side of the story. But I had heard enough. I was drained, my emotions fried from the long walk and the constant weight of it all. I told her to go ahead. Tell me your side. Let's get it over with. And then it came. Her emotional, high-pitched plea. How could you ghost me like this? She cried. We were supposed to be married last week. If something bothered you, we could have talked about it. You can't just throw everything away over a trivial matter. I'm turning 28 soon. I need to have a baby before 30. Her voice cracked. We can't ruin everything now. You know how much I love you. After everything you put me through, I came all the way here to fix things. That was it. The final straw. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Really? I yelled. This is what you want to talk about? Gaslighting me? You're the one who's narcissistic, self-centered, thinking only about your timeline and your goals. Marriage by 28, a baby by 30. And you haven't even once addressed the cheating. Her eyes widened, the shock written all over her face. That's when I really lost it. You want to talk about love? You want to justify your actions? You were sexting your ex. Talking about your fantasies with him, telling him you wanted to be with him. That's not just for fun, Ellie. That's cheating. That's betrayal. I could see her struggling, trying to defend herself, but it was useless. Her arguments fell apart. She kept repeating that she didn't mean any of it, that it was all a lie, that she loved me. But I wasn't listening anymore. I don't need your explanations, I snapped. I don't respect you anymore. I've lost all love for you. It's over. You can't fix this. She begged me, pleading for another chance, trying to twist it into a guilt trip. She told me how she had invested years into this relationship, how she was about to fulfill her life goals, and how I was ruining everything. It made my stomach turn. You're insane, I muttered under my breath. I had enough. I told her to leave, that I would report her if she didn't. But she wouldn't listen. She collapsed, sobbing, on the ground, wailing like a banshee. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I had nothing left to give. I headed back to the resort, packed my bags, and booked my flight home. I couldn't sleep, but there was a sense of relief. A strange calmness. The confrontation had given me something I didn't expect, closure. I wasn't looking for it, but I had it. Finally. I don't think I'll be hearing from her again. Maybe it's time to let go of the house, too. It's too big for just one person. I might move to a smaller place. Maybe I'll keep journaling, writing down my thoughts like I did today. It feels good to put everything out there. Thanks for reading. Looking forward to connecting more and sharing in the future. Cheers. Well, Ellie certainly spiced things up, but not in the way anyone would hope. And Alaska? Seriously? If she can find you there, she can find you anywhere. Good luck with that, OP. What lengths have you gone to in order to escape a stalker ex? Share your stories in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Until next time.